We started the day with devotions at the courtyard of Wesley's Chapel, which has a beautiful space where we could gather with a couple of benches. And we started with a reading from Proverbs 27:17. You use steel to sharpen steel, and one friend sharpens another. We thought about the ways that generations of Christians have lived and worshiped together at Westminster Abbey, and we prepared ourselves to open ourselves up to the ways that we as friends can sharpen each other and grow in our faith and our understanding of the way that God is working in the world today. So we use this as our launching pad for the day, and then we hit the buses to get back over to Westminster and start our adventure. Some of us rode, some of us walked. The walkers managed to find the street where John Wesley's heart was strangely warmed, which was Aldersgate. We also found a church that had been bombed during World War II and has now been turned into a garden for a peaceful corner in the city. Once again, we were on the tour buses and learned more about the city as we went along the south side of the Thames River and then got some touches of real London as well as the tourist stuff. And then we found ourselves at Westminster Abbey itself. We joined a long throng of people moving in to tour the city. And we were touched by the religious history of this building and the many ways that it has connected so many people to God and to their community through the generations. The doors themselves are quite impressive as you enter the building, a place where 40 monarchs have been crowned to lead this nation through their history. There's tremendous beauty and history all over once you enter inside, and we were blessed to be able to participate in a service of Holy Communion led by a bishop that serves in Africa. Linda got him to speak with us afterwards and share his experience from the coronation, as well as to receive a blessing from Linda, which he then returned to Linda as well. It was truly a great moment of touching base with another clergy person and religious leader. We then took our tour around the building and we saw the many places where royalty found their final resting places, following a tradition where if you're buried close to a saint, then you might get taken up to heaven a little earlier than some of the other people. Even one of King Henry VIII's wives, who managed to die naturally after her marriage to him, found a little nook for a final resting place here. Other significant individuals were also buried here, including William Wilberforce, who worked to end slavery in the British Kingdom. One of the docents gave us a special little tour, a few of us, and showed us the Canadian Memorial. This memorial was originally built to honor the military officer who won Quebec from the French for the British Kingdom. But it is a memorial that has special meaning for the Canadians who come through Westminster Abbey, and a number of them were blessed here before going to the battlefields during World War I. At the end of their service, only 20% survived, and they brought their battlefield flags back and placed them on this memorial, and they have not been touched since. We also came across the memorial for John and Charles Wesley for their service to the nation. Near the pillars in the back was an area where people could light candles to pray for others and remember those loved ones close to us. In the chapter house is a special display from the coronation with a number of exhibits that celebrate the coronation that happened just a couple weeks ago. The chapter room has a long history in and of itself and has a beautiful ceiling. In the evening, we returned for evensong, and a couple of our people managed to get places in the choir where they could sit closer to the musicians that were leading our worship that evening. At that point, it was time to hit the road and head back home, and we enjoyed going up and down the many escalators. One of our members even found a great statue of Winston Churchill, and then it was on to the pub to enjoy some good English lager and some conversation and good hearty food as we started to rest and relax after a long day.
At Westminster Abbey, I attended the Eucharist service, and I was deeply moved when we did a call and response with this 23rd Psalm. It was just, although it's very familiar and most people have it memorized. It was just very moving in that space, in that beautiful space, in that way. It was just beautiful. Wonderful experience.
Hello. We attended Westminster Cathedral yesterday. It was an awesome experience. We attended an afternoon service where our group could partake in the Eucharist. Later on in the evening, we attended the evening song, and Jeff and I were placed in amongst the boys' choir and right under the speaker's podium. It was an awesome experience. The pipe organs were exciting. Later on, we toured where the coronation took place. And we also got a wonderful tour with one of the docents. They gave us lots of history, and we saw where the nurses and the engineers were, dedications to them.